Hey you guys, this is James here at Unique Perspectives. Thank you for checking out my video. Blessings to you. If there's any way I could ever pray for you, please reach out to me. I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, or if you can just put some comments out here on my YouTube. I'll be more than happy to really support you in that way. I do want to say welcome. Thank you for watching my video. I actually just wanted to talk about relationships and more specifically the idea of dating and marriage, and really just kind of doing that in a more naturalistic standpoint and not necessarily being coerced. So let me just start off by saying that, first off, like I said, thank you for checking out my video. But what I really want to talk about is sometime early this year, I actually asked a lady out on a date, somebody that I know, and a really lovely lady. She has children, and I thought it would be a good idea just to finally ask her out because I thought to myself, here she is always updating me more than a year or so, about these failed relationships and failed situations that she's been in the past with previous relationships and stuff like that. So I thought to myself, you know what, maybe it would be nice to just go ahead and just ask her out and just ask her and see if she wants to just hang out, And so I set a date, I set a time, I set, an idea of, I'll come and pick her up if she's like 30 miles away. I don't mind doing this. I would love to connect with her, And she didn't really follow up with me very well, but she initially said, yeah, sure, that's cool. But then I noticed that as we started to get closer to the time, she really kind of, gave me kind of like I'm not sure if, I can hang out. And then sort of like very close to like last minute, she kind of said, hey, you know what, I'm going to be doing something with my children that day, sorry. And that was really like the end of it. And I didn't really get upset with her. I didn't get upset. I think when I was a younger man, I would have probably, blown a head gasket. I would have gotten really upset and, disturbed, but I was in a different place then. But what I realized is that she was demonstrating to me that, she just wasn't that interested. So I let it be and I left it alone. I didn't call her a name. I didn't get angry with her. I didn't start belittling her or start gossiping about her. I just left her alone. And one of the things I really want to emphasize in this video is that when a man specifically is interested in a woman, we are not going to make excuses when it comes to our interest with trying to connect with a woman. And it's the same thing with a woman. If a woman is prepared to really connect with a man and to receive a man, she's not going to beat around the bush and waste his time and, bail on him when they've already set plans and things like that. A woman, just like a man who's interested, will connect with you and will be consistent with that, and I've met, people in my past that men and women, they had very busy lives. Sometimes they were business owners. Sometimes they were on city councils. Sometimes they had children. Sometimes they were juggling multiple jobs. But that didn't stop them from connecting with the person that they were interested in by texting, by calling, responding. And so I just really want to emphasize that if someone is really, truly interested in you, they're not going to beat around the bush and they're not going to goof off and play around with your time. With that being said, I also want to speak on something more specifically about marriage. When a man, or a lot of us, when we are interested in a woman, very often when we see that we are physically attracted to her, that we are attracted to her emotionally, we're attracted to her especially spiritually for us Christians, and we see these attributes that this woman holds. One of the first things that we think about in our minds is that if I recognize that she has these valuable traits, then I want to make sure that, she's spoken for, that I, take that opportunity to be her partner so no one else will get her. And it's the same thing with like anything in life, If you see an opportunity to have something when other people understand the value of that thing or that person, they're going to jump to the chance. So the idea is to obtain that connection with that lady and establish a dating relationship. Establish as soon as you can, even a potential engagement. If this is somebody that obviously demonstrates that they have these different attributes that you enjoy, the idea is really to make something of that and then ultimately to marry them, and so, this is just my opinion. And I think that a lot of us guys, especially those of us in the Christian community, would agree. When we are interested in a woman and she really demonstrates that she has all these attributes that we've been looking for, that we value, that we find attractive, we're not going to beat around the bush and wait around for somebody else to come and get her, and I think that if we have reservations about her, then that can be legitimate as well, and there's a reason why. But I think it's a really bad idea for a man or a woman, especially a woman, to try to bully or coerce a man and argue with him in order to marry her. I think it really puts a woman in a very compromising situation when you have to but it puts a woman in a very compromising situation when she's trying to connect with a guy and she really wants to be with him, so she's willing to, do sexual acts for him. She's willing to give him money. She's willing to do all these things to accommodate him. And he's not reciprocating, and he's not demonstrating that the feeling is mutual. And then she's trying to coerce the guy to marry her. And I think it can be very devastating for a woman when, she's not receiving that. But also, if the guy decides to just entertain her a little bit, and play around with her and mislead her, But I think it's just important just to keep this in mind that if a man is interested, ladies, he's not going to keep you in the dark about it. He's going to demonstrate it with his time. He's going to demonstrate making time for you specifically. He might even make plans with you, or he might mention that he loves being around you, or he enjoys, your food. Let's say you cook, you prepare, or the way you talk, or the way you smell. He's going to be letting you know, hey, I like these things about you. I enjoy these things about you. I appreciate these things about you. And the guy is, he's going to have an issue if you're spending time with other men. He's going to make it very clear, hey, I don't like that. I don't like that, because he's going to be thinking, hey, I want to spend time, But again, you don't want to be in a position, and this is men and women, but especially women. You don't want to put yourself in a position where you're trying to argue your way into a man's life. You don't want to try to coerce him to love you and coerce you to be with you. You want a man that he already knows to take the initiative and be with you. That he knows that, he recognizes your value and he's going to move towards you, not you, have to move towards him necessarily. A man is a natural pursuer, whether it was a motorcycle or my sports car or whatever else. If I wanted it, I'll make preparations to get it. Same thing with my camera that I'm using right now. It took me almost a year because I was going through a lot of financial difficulties just to even afford this quality camera that I wanted. But I made it happen. I wanted it that bad that I set aside the money and the time and the efforts to make sure that I bought my tripod, I bought my camera, I bought the memory cards, I bought extra batteries, I bought everything I needed so I can do this because it was important to me. And not that I want to compare a human being with an inanimate object, but I just want to emphasize that if I or anybody else is willing to go out of our way to put money aside and do all these other preparations just for an item, then imagine what it is we should be doing for a human being made in the image of God that has value and worth. So I don't want to make this video too long, but I do want to emphasize that, ladies, if you are in the position where you have to coerce a man to love you, coerce a man to marry you, to coerce a man to spend time with you, this is probably not a good idea to continue that relationship. And there are some women that I've met in my life that are so desperate, or their desire marriage so much, that they will temporarily put on blinders and ignore the clear attributes or the disinterest a man has for them, just so they can entertain the idea of being in a relationship that ultimately is a counterfeit relationship. It's a counterfeit relationship, it's a counterfeit marriage, and it just kind of gives the impression that you're together, but really the guy isn't with you. Sometimes there's some guys that are there just for sex. There's some guys that are just there because they don't want to be alone. And sometimes it's just convenient to have somebody around. And often these same guys will have clear boundaries with certain things that they're not willing to invite you in, because to them it's more convenient not to marry you and just kind of have that connection with you and maybe some access to sex. So I just really want to emphasize that to you. But guys and gentlemen, same applies to you as well. There are plenty of ladies that will spend a lot of time with you. They'll make time for you just to hang out, and they will treat you like an ATM machine, and they will expect you to pay for everything, and they don't really care about anything else, but they just want to use you and exploit you. And the idea really is to observe, are they being consistent? Are they demonstrating a genuine love and interest and recognizing your value rather than treating you like an object? So I just wanted to share that, you guys. God bless you guys. Peace. Take care. And I'll see you on the next one. All right. James is out.